Hey you. Yeah, you. The one who's been holding it together, but barely. The one who's trying to be everything for everyone, but is quietly wondering, where do I fit in? Welcome to the LoveThySelfies podcast. This is your 10-minute pocket of truth, softness, and strength. I'm Melissa, a woman who's been through the mess, and the founder of LoveThySelfies. And this podcast, it's for us. Every weekday, I'm showing up to share the real stuff. The doubts, the breakthroughs, the things I wish someone told me sooner. Because loving yourself isn't always bubble baths and affirmations. It's crying in your car and still choosing to show up. It's unlearning the lies and deciding you're worthy anyway. It's being human and being holy in the same breath. So if you're ready to stop performing, to stop shrinking, and to finally feel seen, this podcast is your daily permission slip to slow down, to rise up, and to come home to yourself. Welcome to the episode 5 of LoveThySelfies podcast, your 10-minute pocket of peace, power, and truth to carry with you today. I'm so glad you're here. I'm your host, Melissa, a woman who's lived through some pretty messy moments, wanting to share what I've learned and how I've grown with you. I used to think I had to change everything all at once. And now I know that the tiniest wins, they build the most powerful life. If you've ever made a plan to completely change your life, only to fall off after a week or two and feel like an absolute failure, you are not alone. And this episode is absolutely for you. Let me tell you what I used to believe. That I would never be someone who could truly change. That discipline was for literally every other person on the planet but me. And that consistency was something you were either born with or not. And I was not. I would make a plan. I would revamp everything. And I mean literally everything. The morning routine, the health goals, the schedule, the mindset work. I'd go hard for about 2 weeks. And then one thing would throw me off. One day of stress, one late night, one off morning, and boom, I would just stop. The wheels would fall off and the spiral would start. I would say things to myself like, see, you always do this, or you'll never stick to anything, or you just don't care enough. It was so demoralizing. Have you ever been there? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Every failed attempt or reinforced the story that I wasn't a consistent person, that I wasn't someone who could be accountable to herself, that maybe I didn't care enough to keep going. But you know what I know now? That was a lie. A lie built by perfectionism. Dirty, dirty bastard. By the belief that change had to be big, loud, and instant to matter. But here's what changed everything for me, and please don't hate me for this, okay, you guys? People talk about it because it actually works. I started practicing gratitude just once a day, not when I felt great, not when my house was clean or my to-do list was finished, but especially when life was messy, chaotic, or heavy. 3 sentences, sometimes 2, that's all you need. Something like, I'm grateful I made my bed today, or I'm grateful for warm coffee and quiet moments, or I'm so grateful I didn't quit. After 3 months of doing this consistently but imperfectly, it doesn't have to be like a routine where you sit on your bed or like where you have a special space and you're writing down everything. No, you can literally sit up in your bed and just think of the things that you're grateful for. It could literally be your toes or your nose or who knows what else. Anyway, I realized after 3 months of practicing gratitude that I was no longer the same person. Not because I became some productivity robot, but because I finally stopped quitting on myself. And even on the days that I didn't show up in a certain way, I didn't spiral and I didn't beat myself up. Because now I had actual hard proof, evidence that I was someone who returns. I stopped abandoning myself. I was someone who doesn't have to get it perfect and I could still keep going. Wow. That is powerful. There's this quote from James Clear. I don't know if you guys have read the book Atomic Habits. But this quote literally stopped me in my tracks the first time I heard it, and I hope it does the same for you. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Like, what? Okay, let me read that one more time because I don't think you got it the first time. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Isn't that powerful? Like, every time you write something down, every time you say no to something that drains you, every time you stretch or drink water or tell yourself the truth, you are casting a vote. You are building a body of proof, not for the world, but for you. Here's something cool I learned that helped this all make sense to me. Every time that you repeat a behavior, especially something loving or intentional towards yourself, you are strengthening a neural pathway in your brain. It's like carving a trail through the woods. The more often you walk it, the clearer the trail gets. Eventually, it becomes the path of least resistance. So if you've ever felt like, why is it so easy to fall back into my old patterns? It's not because you're weak. It's because those trails are well worn, baby. But every time you choose presence, you're paving a new one. And even if the first few times feel super awkward or forced, you are laying down proof that a new identity is being formed. Now, I think of growth like this. Imagine a jar, and every time you show up for yourself in a small way, you drop a marble in. So, one moment of honesty, marble. One morning of journaling, marble. One day where you don't shame yourself for missing a workout, marble. Eventually, that jar fills up, and you begin to see the evidence that you are who you say you are. You're not pretending, you're practicing, and slowly that practice becomes your whole identity. There were so many times that I would scroll through social media and see other women waking up at 5 a.m., crushing their workouts, running their businesses like bosses. And I would think, she's just wired completely differently than I am. And that could never be me. But after time of working on this, here's what I realized. Those women were not more worthy. They weren't more disciplined. They had simply been voting for themselves longer than I had. And once I started casting my own votes, everything changed. Not because I was suddenly on their level, but because I finally believed that I had my own level worth building. That's what I teach in my Quantum Leap course. Not how to force a shiny transformation, but how to build a life that matches your energy, your values, and your rhythm. And it starts with these micro wins. They're daily grounded shifts that stack up over time. It's also why I created the Love Thy Selfies journal on how to get to know yourself. So you could literally see yourself becoming. You can write it down, you can claim it, anchor into the version of who is already showing up, even if the world hasn't clapped for her yet. So let's shift together right now. I want you to reflect on this statement. Where are you underestimating the power of your small, consistent efforts? I think for me, it's in my health and wellness journey. Because for so long, I have told myself these stories that I'm not healthy, that if I have one little tiny piece of chocolate, I am going to be so ill always. And that is such an easy way to backslide. Okay, here's your journal prompt. What's one tiny thing I can do today to come back to myself? Write that one down. Just breathe through it for a minute. Here's your mantra. Progress over perfection. 51% is enough. That's your tipping point. More days than not, more love than shame, more trust than fear. That's the formula. One morning not long ago, I woke up late and the house was a complete disaster. My head was already spiraling with everything that I hadn't done. And I sat on the edge of my bed and that old voice whispered, it's already a failure of a day. Don't even bother. But instead of falling back into shame, I stood up, I walked to the kitchen, I poured a glass of water, and I whispered, "We start small. That's all. It's one step." That glass of water was my vote that day. And the rest of the day didn't suddenly become perfect, but I also didn't abandon myself. That one moment of choice, the tiniest spark of self respect, is what builds everything else. So, wherever you are right now, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're folding laundry, sitting in a quiet moment before the chaos begins, I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale, and imagine this version of you right here, right now, dropping a marble into that jar. A tiny vote for the version of you who is calm, capable, compassionate. You are doing it even now, and I'm so proud of you. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep coming back. If this episode gave you something to hold on to, I hope you share it with a friend. Tag me, DM me, or show me your journal. I'd love to cheer you on. You can always find me on Instagram at LoveThySelfies. I'm also on Facebook and TikTok. Come back tomorrow for another reminder that your life is not built in one big leap. It's built in the becoming. You're not behind. You're just getting started. Namaste. I want to thank you so much for coming today. If the episode spoke to your heart, please come back tomorrow. Share it with a friend. We do this every weekday. You can also find me over on Instagram at LoveThySelfies, where we keep the conversations going. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.